All right, guys. I'm not even kidding here. I just, I just, I just filmed a whole video without filming it. I didn't hit the record button, and I'm kicking myself right now. But we're gonna try to get through this. I have to get through it kind of quick now, unfortunately, because I have to go do some baby bath time. Oh no! But we do have some major things to talk about. So let's get into this. Let's treat it very seriously because we do see that the economic calendar here. Very interesting to me that we have JOLTS job openings tomorrow, jobs data. We've gotten some lagging jobs data because of those government closures and government shutdown and things like that. And we've gotten some revisions, right, of jobs data. And people are very, very scared of those because the numbers don't look very good. So I think it's interesting that we're going to get this. And because of this, we actually have a small range tomorrow. And I'm like, that's interesting. So I am going to give you the 95% zone today for the SPY. And then that's going to really be interesting because maybe we're saying the options market's really holding things down and waiting to use the Fed interest rate, or maybe the market makers themselves are holding things down to wait for the Fed interest rate to do their funky stuff. So we do get the Fed interest rate on Wednesday. We will get the JOLTS job openings, though, 30 minutes after the open. So we will want to keep that in mind as we look at things. Now, we do have a small range, so I think it's interesting that we have the same type of range we had today. We're going to have tomorrow, that is Tuesday. And I think that's interesting. I think it's very interesting because today you didn't have data. Tomorrow you have jobs data, and I think that's wild. So to the upside for your daily expected moves, your 68% zone, 687.38 to the upside. You have 679.88 to the downside. Let's just go with this in stride. As it forms in front of us, as the market continues to prove itself, I still really like the pullback look. I would really enjoy that before the Fed interest rate, because we already went over this on Patreon and we showed the probabilities. We showed that little CME group. The probabilities are like 90% chance that they are going to cut by, I believe, 25 basis points. So, you can just look that up. We can pull that up another time. But right now, MACD is super positive. So a 2-hour pullback is most likely the next good opportunity. Even if we wanted to squeeze into the Fed, I'm not in anything right now. I got out right in this area, right, just in case we wanted a quick 30-minute pullback. And I was able to do exactly what we're going to do in a moment down at these levels. We're going to do in a second here for the 2-hour pullback. So if we wanted to squeeze to the upside, you want to watch for traps, because that event can be used to really get you to think we're going to the upside, new all-time high narrative, right? And the 30-minute chart for you bulls out there, you have not lost this low. So price action is not with the downside trend. It's still with the upside trend. And if you crossed up, you'd be really close to positive territory. Stick around for the Qs if you want to see that MACD. It's going to be a little bit different, a little bit better for the bulls. And you do have a confirmation from the price action as of right now and a confirmation from the RSI. So there are some riskier bettors out there who probably already took this. But since this is crossing up, if this is able to confirm on the MACD, you would say test the high, go make a new one. Your daily expected move is suggesting you could get a lower high. But just because the market's not pricing in a lot of implied volatility, I gave you the 95% upside line today for the SPY. 691.12, that's going to be your 95% zone here. That means for you day traders, if you make it to this line at some point in the day, don't think that it's going to keep skying through the roof. This is 95% of the time we will close below this line if you're able to get a good confirmation. But there is something interesting here as we're trying to make the potential structure to break down for that 2-hour to go retest that 5-day moving average down there. Maybe, just maybe, we're going to see that upside, and then we're going to get the JOLTS job openings, and we can head to that downside move. And if it's truth be told, I'm really looking for something like this. Not exactly this shape, but really this kind of 1-2 move, because this would set up that 30-minute divergence down by the weekly expected move, down by testing the 5-day moving average. This would mean that the jobs data shakes things up. We see a dramatic move because people aren't expecting it, because small range. We go down to that 95% line. Not guaranteed. You always want to watch these lines first, okay? And that means we'd get some kind of reaction and see that we're able to base out by maybe even Thursday morning, or I would say Friday morning. What we're looking for down here for that 2-hour pullback to be finished, right, as it gets down to the center line, we want to look for those hints. You're looking for a higher low. You're looking for a divergence like this right here. So we would be looking for this to reject, go to the downside, create that divergence, and then head back up. That would be a good hint for us that the pullback is done. And it's exactly what we did down at the monthly expected move of last month. This is where I entered. This is where, and I entered actually at lower levels too. I entered a couple times, but then I was able to get out, and I don't want to mess around with any of this because this is just some theta burn as it stands in my book. So looking for a 30-minute divergence, this is exactly my mentality going into the Fed interest rate decision. And now you have that 95% zone in case people are kind of underrepresenting or undervaluing risk going into tomorrow, since we actually have jobs data, the JOLTS job openings. Let's go over to the Qs and get you guys that real quick. We do see here the Qs. Now look at this MACD for the Qs. It looks even better. It's even closer to the center line. So once again, test the high, go make a new one. The other thing is they didn't even play with losing the last critical level. So very interesting. That means we should be open for the Qs to make a divergence point. So you want to be open to seeing this divergence here. And if the Qs do start to head out of that zone, I might post the 95% lines on Patreon. I actually might just post those to Patreon today, just in case. But the 30-minute crosses up. You don't necessarily want to be bearish when that's happening, but if you are able to reject or you reject early on, that's when you could actually say, okay, we're going to head down to the 5-day moving average. I am not shorting this market. I am not shorting right now. We are seeing a good positive move above the 5-day moving average. We're seeing divergences. That's telling us a 2-hour pullback is likely. We see no crash signal as of right now. In fact, this would more so be a time where you're able to make those crash signals later on, maybe even going into end of month or January. So we will be watching for that. But right now, a 2-hour pullback is the most probable. So you see the ranges 628.84 small, 619.72 small. So if they are misrepresenting, if they're misjudging what's going to happen tomorrow being the options market, then we actually can see us get down to these type of levels by Thursday or Friday. And I think that would be very interesting to see if the Qs are able to make some sort of divergence at this level. But as of right now, you do have a confirmation from the RSI, a confirmation from the price action. So upside would be the most probable until we see that potential shakeup with the data in the morning. So I'm not bearish at this point. I'm actually bullish, and I'm looking for a 2-hour pullback. The only way that you'll really make me bearish is if you start to make 2-hour divergences, if you start to make a 2-hour lower high, that would make me bearish. Or the simple rule of, hey, if the daily crosses down really close to the center line, am I going to celebrate that? Am I going to be in calls at that point? No, but will I be watching for some funky behavior around the Fed interest rate? Yes, I will, because the way that they get you and the way that they end up testing these areas by OPEX is they shake things up. They convince you we're going to crash down by OPEX, and then you just curl up into positive territory and you go to 700. Potentially buy options expiration, but more so you would say, hey, for the Qs, 651.33 could be tagged by the end of the month. Let's go over volatility. Volatility was almost up by 10%. Once again, you don't want to, I'm not going to mess around with this, right? Even though on the daily chart, I do see a high, I see a lower high, I see a low, I see a lower low, right? This means we're going down, not up, right? So, but I still do not mess around. I still don't, at least if I'm going to take a call and I see a signal that contradicts, right? That happens every once in a while. I'm not going to be betting the house on it, right? I'm not doing that at the end of the year. I'm not trying to ruin a whole good year of trading by betting the house and things like that. No, if I can pay for some Christmas gifts, I'll be happy at the end of the year, mainly focusing on what matters, which is family. The 2-hour chart as of right now, trying to go positive. What we would say here is more so, I think for the time being, the 30-minute chart could be more important in my opinion. If we're able to come down and make a 2-hour divergence and we actually confirm that, I'll be paying attention. I might have to buy some volatility at that point because that means we're stretching things out a little bit more and we could see a little bit more of a retrace, or it could be a trap at that point, and volatility would be a trap signal forming. It wouldn't have it on the spine of the Qs. We'll have to see how it shapes up. But I think the important thing for volatility going into tomorrow is just knowing that the 30-minute is in a positive trend. So as of right now, you do see a good positive move. This means that very likely we could see it dip down, right? And then by the time we get that data, we could start to be curling back up with that volatility. And you watch for divergences around here, but I think we're going to scale up. I think we will see a tag of the 5-day moving average or a point of about 20. I think 20 is a good area to watch for here because 20 is a critical level. So what does this mean? This means I see volatility. I could see how it could test the 5-day. So that's what I'm kind of looking for. I'm looking for a bounce from volatility to go test that 5-day moving average. And then at the same time, I'm looking for what on the opposite end? I'm looking for the SPY to go test that 5-day moving average on the 2-hour chart. Pull back a little bit deeper for me, set a trap, do whatever you want to do, but pull back a little bit deeper for me. And then let's see if we can catch some kind of hint here going into the next few trading sessions. I will be posting, if I see a picture, I usually post a picture of when I see that kind of setup, just like I think we did a full video for this over here, but we are looking for this right over here. We'll be looking for this right over here. These were the divergences on the 2-hour RSI that told us, and outside of the monthly move, that told us, hey, don't buy into all those crash narratives that all those people on Twitter who have way too much time to be trading. There's no way they're trading if they're making that much content. But the 30-minute divergence here was just fantastic. So the 30-minute divergence outside the monthly move was our hint. There's the confirmation. Great confirmation there. We're looking for the same thing right over here, in my opinion. So I hope that this video was overall helpful. Remember, if you're not understanding any of this stuff, guys, we have limited seating, but you can get the full technical analysis course right now for only $100. It's 90% off. This is we do this sale every year, but this is the year where it's going to change. This is the last time you're going to be able to get it for only $100. I can tell you it was priced by someone from Wall Street. They said that they would price it anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500, I believe. And yeah, you can get it for $100 right now. So get it while it lasts. But if you want to stick around, you want to try to learn from YouTube, I totally respect that. I respect your hard-earned money, and I will try to be as helpful as possible to you guys over here on YouTube and Patreon. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys are able to have a good day tomorrow. Make sure to watch your risk throughout the week. We have a couple events going on, and I will continue to update you as the market continues to prove itself. Have a good one. Peace out.